Hey everyone, welcome back to this week's video. This is BK Motors of Mayhem, and I have here a surprising new project. Yes, I covered it for more dramatic effect, okay? Because I am extremely excited for this project. I am stoked. I've been wanting to bike along these lines for a very long time, and I finally was able to track one down and I got one. So I'm excited, very excited to be showing you guys what the next project is going to be. So if you got a guess, leave it down in the comments down. I'll give you a hot second. All right. Do you have your comments in? Now, here it is. Yes, we're starting at the back even to drag it out even more. Ta-da! It is a 1967 Kawasaki Avenger A7. I believe it's A7 or A7 two-stroke. Yes, this is a two-stroke. And I know right now it doesn't look like it has much to it. But I have parts. I have been tracking down some parts for this bike in the meantime of doing the Virago. So that is why I've been waiting to film this, because I've been tracking down some parts for it. It did come with more than what you see here. So I will go get them and show you guys what we all have. And we'll start and bolt some parts on and start putting this bike back together. So give me one hot second. So it did come with an original Kawasaki seat. It's a little rusty and losing stuff on the ground, but is original and is in fairly good shape, except for this hole back here. So we do have that, and we also have the original fuel tank. Now I know what you're thinking. Look at the outside of that thing. It has to be destroyed. Well, if you bring yourselves on in here, take a look inside that tank. It looks like brand new inside, which is extremely exciting. I don't have to clean this. I don't have to do a damn thing to the inside of this tank. It's fine. It's ready to go. And this bike also came with a spare frame, which is over off camera, with a couple extra parts as well, which is nice. So that is a good thing. Plus, it came with a factory Kawasaki key from 1967, which is super cool. Now, as for the parts that I had to track down, as you can tell, she's missing quite a few things. So, these are what I've been able to find. So, I was able to get, which is missing, as you can tell, a air filter cover, a new old stock carburetor, which was not easy to track down. Yes, it is missing a carburetor, the left side one, which just goes right in there. So I was able to track down a new old stock carburetor for it. The grommet, which sits right there. And the oil tank. Yes, this was oil injected. It is not mixed. So that is also really cool as well. So those are the parts I was able to track down. I have not been able to find a side cover for this side yet, or don't know of anything else that might need, but that is what I have been able to track down thus far. So I say in this week's video, we will go ahead, we will mount the carburetor, mount the oil tank, air filter, and all that other stuff, and see welds it might need, go over it, see what we can get, see what I can find, and we'll go from there. So let's get to it. I say we'll start with the first thing, the easiest thing, which is this funky air filter. I will remove the seat in the meantime. Well, that was rather simple. So there we go, that's good. Then next, I am going to take the gas tank back off just to give me some space. Next, we will get into mounting the oil tank. So it does still have the hardware with it, which is nice. That one's on there rather tight. I'll get some pliers. And also, before I forget and get too carried away, I will show you guys, fortunately, with this one, it is not seized. She's got loads of compression as well, which is nice. So now I'll mount this guy up. Feed that through first, I think, perhaps. Now this tank is off of a 250, I believe, and I think it was actually the Samurai. But thankfully, the color matches, which is pretty cool. It's pretty close to the actual original color. And between the Samurai and the Avenger, a lot of parts transfer over. Not everything, but a lot of them do. So that's why it says 250 A1 on this. The Avenger is 350 A7, I believe. All right, now I'm going to go ahead, pop off the side cover here. I'll show you guys. This is actually where the carburetor sits on these bikes. It's a really weird design. It sits down in the cover. I'll show you guys on how it's missing a carburetor. So, as you can see here, guys, like I said, we are missing the carburetor and the lines have all been cut. This is the oil feed line coming from the tank, and that's been cut. That's why I got the new one here with the new line. And then the fuel line here has been cut, and the carburetor is MIA. So again, that is why we got the new one. She'll bolt. Oh yeah, slides right on. We'll be good to go there. And as you can tell, she is starting to rain, so I don't know how much longer I'll be able to stay out here and work on this today. So we might have to pick this back up tomorrow, but I can tough it out for a little bit. All depends on how much harder it starts coming down. So let's see. I will, though, be keeping this fitting because they don't make those anymore and they're really hard to come across. And I believe it should be the same one that will go right on here, I think. I hope. If not, then I have to try and find something else that will work. Well, it was nice thinking that. I'll have to track down something else that will work for the fuel line. All right, so now we have the tank fully hooked back up. I am gonna slap this carburetor on and in place for now, which as you saw was relatively easy, but I don't know if I'll tighten it up. Maybe, because it will probably just have to come back off again. There we go. I will just leave it like that for now. I won't worry about tightening it up. And I believe this is the choke cable, and it appears to be snapped or missing something. So I'll have to get a new choke cable for it. And then here is the throttle cable. I might as well set the throttle cable up while I'm here. So, new grommet also installed. Then I'm just going to go ahead and install the throttle cable, which will just slide right straight through here, down. Oh, forgetting this. Okay, so now, again, throttle cable slides right down. Now, the butterfly might be a little off because this doesn't want to slip down in place. I might have to adjust that later on, but that is no big deal for right now. We're just sort of mocking this all up, getting things in. Then you take your throttle cable, slip it right into place, just like so. Slide her back down in. Make sure your needle is lined up. And pow, she is in. Yeah, now just as I thought, if you guys come over here, take a quick look. Now, as you can see, the butterfly is now all the way down. And yes, the throttle is not being engaged right now. So I'll definitely have to come back and address that. But for now, it is fine. And we will move on. All right. So for now, I'm going to slap this cover back on. I know there's still some work to do in here, but I don't want the weather getting in there, the rain. I know I got a cover over top, but it could still happen. So I just want to put the cover back on, keep this all good in here, especially that new carburetor. And some cool knowledge about these bikes. These 350 Avengers back in the day were actually known to be extremely fast. From factory, Kawasaki was claiming they could do about 13 seconds down the quarter mile, which is pretty impressive, if I don't say so myself. Especially that was stock before any modifications or anything. So I could just imagine how fast these bikes were to go back in the day with some slight modifications. Big bore kit, you know, reed. Well, he's got the rotary valve reed or something fancy like that. But any sort of modification to them, I imagine you could easily get 12 seconds, if not less, down a quarter mile on one of these bad boys. All right, so we now have that all installed and set up for now. I know I'll have to come back and address it later on. There's still the choke cable, which is broken. The throttle's not set up right, but that is fine. It's installed and it fits. Because I wasn't too sure about that carburetor, and I'm happy to know now that it fits and it will work. So now I think we will possibly shimmy on over to the other side, and we have some carburetor or a carburetor to clean, and that is the factory one that came with the bike. I can only imagine what that looks like. So she is missing most of the hardware for these side covers, but hopefully I can get some sourced out from either the dealer or the or a local hardware store or something like that. I'm not too worried about that yet. All right, and there you have it, one factory carburetor. And as you can tell, she does not look clean or happy at all in there. She is really dirty. Hey guys, we are back. It is now the next day. The rain shut us down a little earlier than I hoped yesterday, so it is now the next day and we are back on the Kawasaki and removing this carburetor. So what you have to do is there's a little rubber cover like so. It goes in right about here, and you just got to pop that off, and then there should be a flathead in there, I believe. And you just got to loosen it off. Now it's going to be a little tricky, so bear with me. Okay, I think I got it. That is extremely hard to see in there. Okay, there she is. She's off. Now I'll gently slide these covers up. Oh, that is super tight. All right, now I'm just going to try and persuade this to come off. Oh, there we go. Unscrew this. Take my slide right out. So there we are. Now, for sake of a little easier on me, I'm just going to do it right on the bike here so I don't have to mess with the clutch cable or the choke cable at all. And I'm just going to clean it right on the bike. I figured that would probably be the best thing to do. So that's what I'm going to do. Doesn't look too bad in here other than the main jet being plugged solid. It looks really clean and the needle not working. Better than that, it looks pretty good. Wow, I don't think that's going to pop out too easily. See if I can clear this main jet for right now. There we go. Yep, okay. So I'm just going to hit this bowl real quick with a brush. As I said, it's not very dirty. So, but there is some stuff in there on the bottom. Just going to spray this all down with some WD-40. Oh yeah, that one's cleared. So I sprayed some juice through. Now, I don't know if you can make it out on camera, but if I spray the juice through, you can see it come right out. So that is clear. So that's good. Spray this down. Gotta get a rag. Giving a bit of a wipe down because these are very dirty. Right here. This side is also Very dirty. Not good wipe down. Let's see if I can pop this pin out now. Oh, that is really stuck there, guys. That is not looking like that wants to move at all. That is not good. All right, so after a couple little persuasion hits with my punch and a hammer, I was able to pop the pin all the way through. And I got the needle out. She's right here. Now, just gonna spray some lube down in there. Nope, that appears to be working. I'm just gonna slide the float back in. Doesn't seem like it wants to go all the way back through. The needle is working now though. It is going back up and down how it's supposed to. So that is good. Now I just have to get the pin back in. Perfect. There she is. Back in and working correctly. Yep, she is good. So there you have it. That carburetor is looking pretty good now. I mean, not too bad for what it looked like. It looked pretty good before, but a little scuzzy and dirty it was, and now it's looking much better. So now I'm going to slap this back together for now. Spray this off again. And put her back together and reinstall it. I would say we're looking pretty good on this side. Install a needle. A little tricky to get lined up with the hole, but as is life. All right, there we go. We got her all lined back up, going back together. That looks right. All right, now what I am going to do is I'm going to hook up this fuel line. I believe it's just long enough to reach the fuel tank. I'm not too sure, but I think so. So I think I'm just going to reuse it for now instead of taking all this all apart some more and running a new fuel line. This one will fit. I'm just going to put this one on. So let's see if I can get this back on. Oh, well, I might have just done that. Might have been a lot easier than I thought it was going to be with this old brittle fuel line. All right, there it is. It is back on. for now. I'm not sure if it's the right length or not, but I figured while I was in here, just in case it is, hook it back up, good to go. Because I can see here where it looks like barbs are, so it looks like it would have attached to the fuel tank here. That's why I'm suspecting. So it should be long enough. I'm just going to slide this back down and back in place, if it'll go. There we are. All right, now for the not so fun part. Trying to see that flathead in there. Oh, I might have got it. First shot. Look at that. We are just on a roll today. Yep, that is good. So I'll pop the little rubber cap back in, like so. And now this side is finished. So that is good. Now I'm going to clean this cover off a bit. I think even maybe down here a little bit. Maybe I should have done it when the cover was off, but, well, choosers can't be beggars, if that's how the saying goes. And if it's not, well, it is now. So give this a bit of a wipe down. Because you have to remember, this doesn't have an air filter on here. The air filter is up here. So some weird wizardry way by magic, it gets its air down into here and sucks it into the carburetor. So it's got to just have, it's got to be wide open all through here, and it comes in and brings it over, or comes in through there some way. So all this will get sucked into the carburetor. There's no air filter that goes onto this. Although I have seen some pretty cool modifications done to these things, air filter wise. So maybe that's something I'll do in the future. But for now, let's just worry about getting it running. All right, now I don't have any more, I don't have a gasket set for this, so I'm just going to slap that right back on, just how that was. There's no oil or anything in here on this side, so it'll be fine for now. And I still have to get some sort of better hardware for this cover, because these are not the right bolts. They're actually too long, so they bottom out before this cover actually gets mounted solid, just like that. And as you can tell, she's still very loosey-goosey. So that's why I'm not too worried about a new gasket yet. Need some hardware first, but I'm working with what I got, see? All right. So I say that side is done. Now, I'm almost interested to see, this plug is rather loose, see if it has spark. So let's see if we can get to spark at all. I'm going to go get the keys and we will check that. All right, so let's see. I got the key in, ignition I believed on, and let's see if we have any spark. That is a negative. Does not surprise me. Probably needs the points cleaned at best. All right, so now the points are just behind this cover here, if I'm not mistaken. So we're already missing a screw, so that's not a good sign. Someone's been in here. Oh, yeah, that'll do it. Well, we got some broken wires, so that is not good. Yeah, and the points are, in fact, extremely dirty as well. So as you can see, we have a wire chafed through here and broken wire here. So that is definitely not good. We will never get spark out of that. So we'll have to fix that up. All right, well for now, let's see if I can get these points somewhat clean. So I'm just scraping the surface off of the points to try and see if I can get them to clean up. I should be able to. It's just not the easiest thing to get to. Way down in here. All right, guys, so I soldered up the black wire that was broken in half, and I put some tape on the other one for now. And I soldered it and just put some heat shrink wrap on it. If you come in here and you can look, you can see it. It's not too bad of a job. I've done better, but it definitely was tricky to get into to do that. It definitely was, definitely isn't my best job, but as you can see, it was very tricky to get in there to do that. So I think it'll work for now. And I did, like I said, put some solder on it and then just taped up the other wire in there. If you can see that, I just slapped some tape on it for now, the one that was chafing through, and then tucked them back in there the best I could. So that should work for now, hopefully. So if I have some spark issues later on in the future, or if I still don't have spark, I'm not sure yet. I know where to go and what to look for. Those snapped wires in there could definitely be a good contender. Now I'm gonna crank it over and see if I have any spark at all. On the other side, I might be able to see better. So that is a negative. Now, I'm not too sure if this bike needs a battery for spark because it does have a battery box here. I don't know because I also don't see any battery leads for it. So I have no idea where a battery would even hook up to on this bike because there's no wires for a battery whatsoever for this bike. So it's not very good, you could say. I'm not sure if it's some of this wiring that's going on here because that's not the best, but I don't think it's due to the points not being clean. I think they're pretty good. You should at least be able to get something out of them, I would think. It's definitely something that I'm going to have to ponder on. Yeah, and I don't see any broken wires coming off the coil. None of the wires that would be up underneath the tank look like they were messed with. It's all just back here that looked like a disaster. So there is one positive thing is I did order a manual for this book and it should be in soon so I can look over the wiring diagrams for this bike, and that will help a lot, especially when I have stuff like this going on. So for now though, I think I'm just going to slap this cover back on and call it good enough. All right, well, I got the cover back on for now. I think that's about good for the points. Like I said, they look pretty clean to me now that they're all cleaned up. The only other thing I can do until I get the manual to dig into the no spark issue further is to reset that carburetor, which I really don't feel like doing that right now. And I have no fuel line yet for it. I have to get a fuel line for it. So really and truthfully, there's not much point in that. So I think other than cleaning up for this week, I think that about wraps up this video. Okay. So stay tuned until next week, where hopefully maybe we'll get the tank liner in for the Virago and we can switch gears and finally do the tank liner for that. Or we'll be hopping back on this with some more parts and, as usual, probably some more mayhem. So until next week, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. I do check my comments. So till next week, this is BK Motors of Mayhem.